I saw this quote from the Starbucks CEO last night and I got so mad that I stopped everything I was doing to record this video. Because in a recent Wall Street Journal interview with Brian Nichols, CEO of the biggest coffee chain in the world, he tries to justify a $9 cup of coffee by saying, and I quote, "This is a really affordable premium experience. It's less than $10 and I get a really premium experience." What we know is what's definitely something that drives that value is to be able to have a great seat, having a great moment of connection with a barista. Yes, I know I say barista wrong, but I don't plan on stopping. Now listen, I'm not here to say you can't drink corporate coffee. I do it sometimes, it's convenient. But what makes me really mad about this quote in particular is there was such a huge backlash to what this guy said, and rightfully so. You're not getting a connection with your barista at a Starbucks, and that's not a knock on the employees. It's just reality. It's a chain. People are in and out. Heck, the Starbucks by me took away their dine-in seating. It's drive-through only now. What connection are you forming with your barista in the 3 seconds you have your window down in the drive-through? It sounds ridiculous because it is ridiculous, but it's not ridiculous for the reason you think it is. I think so many people are now going to walk away from this interview with the idea that you aren't going to form a meaningful connection with your barista or your coffee shop. And they're right if you only go to Starbucks. But you know the crazy part? Everything he says in this interview about the experience of ordering coffee, you can get at your local coffee shop. My arms are flailing. You can't see it, but my arms are flailing. You can form a meaningful connection with your barista. You can have a phenomenal dine-in experience where you bring your computer to get work done or you bring your notebook to draw. I do it every week. They know me at my local shop. I've talked to the baristas there about where they source their beans from. They've given me tips on perfecting my own coffee at home. We talk about the syrups they use in their lattes and how they compare to other brands. If you're nice, heck, they might even let you behind the counter and show you how they make the coffee. Because the people who are operating these local shops do it because they love the hobby. And for the CEO of Starbucks to go out there and essentially claim that his company does all the things that these local shops do, which is just a lie, gets me really mad. And I'm not mad because it's corporate jargon. I'm used to hearing corporate jargon. I'm mad because the people who actually provide the experience that Starbucks is claiming they provide are all shutting down. In fact, it has become so difficult to run a local coffee shop, so difficult, in fact, that 73% of all new coffee shops fail in their first year, which baffles me, considering coffee is like the top 3 most drunk beverages in the United States. Now, obviously, coffee is very easy to make at home if you're not trying to get the perfect cup every time. So you save a lot of money by not going out and getting it, and I understand that that contributes somewhat into why it's hard to get a new shop up and running. However, the demand is still clearly there for going out for coffee, in my opinion, because everywhere I look, a new Starbucks is popping up every week. And it just is so frustrating that Starbucks can claim to provide the same experience that these local shops are because 1, they don't provide it, and 2, they're already doing well enough. It's okay for Starbucks to just be the corporate drive-through chain with mediocre coffee. But stop claiming that you provide the experience that these local shops that are struggling actually provide when you don't do it. Just let them have this. If each Starbucks had local flyers on their wall for upcoming community events, sold small little trinkets from other local shops that are trying to get their name out there, if these Starbucks hosted live music from local bands like the one by me does on weekend mornings, then I wouldn't have that much of a problem with what he's saying. But stop trying to claim that you are the premium coffee experience, because the shops that are providing that experience are really struggling. And by Starbucks claiming that they do provide that, only to the disappointment of the customer when they arrive, then the customer leaves thinking, man, this whole coffee thing really isn't all it's cracked up to be. And that sucks. Coffee is like one of the single most community-driven things that I can think of. There's a reason why so many first dates are at coffee shops. There's a reason why it feels good to offer guests who come to your home a nice cup of coffee. Because in a way, Brian Nichols here is right. Getting your coffee can be a premium experience. You should be able to walk away from the shop after your order and think, wow, that was awesome. I do it every week at my local coffee shop. I'm not saying you can't get a coffee from a corporate chain on your way to work, and I'm not saying you have to stop making it at home. What I'm saying is, if you like coffee, and if you like the idea that Starbucks pitches all the time about a one-of-a-kind experience, then try going to your local shop. Each one really is a one-of-a-kind experience. I frequent two by me. One is an Irish-themed cafe with these super yummy big breakfast items and not a drive-through but a walk-through window for people who are out walking their dogs. And the other is a really small pastry shop where they provide board games and host community events and sell things from other local shops. I could probably ask them to sell Depresso merch and they would. I want them to be successful. I want these shops to stay afloat. The people that run them, they're so kind, and they're just trying to turn their hobby into a career, even at a daunting 27% first-year success rate. But sometimes I get a little worried. Not that I think local coffee shops are gonna all up and go out of business at once, but because I don't want the only way for a coffee shop to be profitable is to be by taking away what makes them special. It costs money for the live music at my local shop, I'm sure, and they certainly don't make the money that the Starbucks does down the street. So if one day they decide that the only way for them to stay in business is to stop the community events, gut their interior, and turn into another drive-through only shop, then that's that. I just wish that Starbucks would stop claiming to be the premium experience when they're just the McDonald's of cafes. And no one looks at McDonald's like a premium hamburger joint. They look at it like something you need when you need a quick bite to eat. So I don't know, next weekend, maybe go to your local cafe. Bring a book. Look around at what makes that particular shop special. If it's not for you, if you prefer the in-and-out experience of a Starbucks, then all power to you. I'm not trying to guilt trip you into not getting your Starbucks. But you never know. Maybe you'll find something there you really like. Maybe you'll talk to a stranger who likes your laptop case or is reading the same book that you're reading. I just don't want these local shops to fail because a large corporation thinks that they can piggyback off of all of their efforts when they don't actually provide the same service. So please, support your local coffee shop before it's too late. They will really appreciate it.